my name is Eve and I work at the Children's Health Foundation as a clinical researcher. But my passion is also raw vegan food. So I'm raw vegan since 4 years, and I just love preparing raw vegan food and eat raw vegan food. So I don't miss anything with cooked food anymore. So in today's class, actually, we have a raw vegan food preparation class, and I'm going to make raw soups. But you can call it a soup. You can also make more a dressing if you make it thicker. You can also call it a sauce. So there's a lot of variation that you can choose with your food. So what I use, but my secret is definitely, I use only fresh ingredients, whole foods. I don't like anything out of a package. So the only thing I have out of a package maybe whole spices. This I dried myself actually, oregano. And then I bought some sunflower seeds, and I also soak the sunflower seeds or any seeds except for hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are great, they're on whole. But I soak the seeds for my food. So what you need is to soak your nuts or seeds, just a mason jar, and then you have a sprouting lid, it's called. So it has just the band and the instead of the lid, it's just a strainer. It's stainless steel, so it will not rust. You can't use it with your normal mason jar lid, so it will rust it. But this is stainless steel. And what you do is you just soak the seeds in water overnight. You just fully immerse them in water, and then the next day I drained them already and I rinsed them, so the water turns really black from the seeds, so it's not really what you want to eat. The nuts and seeds, they have natural preservatives. They're totally natural, so they preserve the nuts and seeds until they come in contact with water, so they can grow. And they're not really beneficial for our digestion. So if you get problems after you ate nuts and seeds, you might want to consider soaking them in water first. Also, allergies could be caused from that, so you can just try it out.
And you rinse those a couple times?
Yeah, I first soaking, and then I drain it, and then I rinse it a couple of times until the water's clear.
Okay.
And that's pretty enough for sunflower seeds. If you want to sprout it longer with other seeds, you would just leave it upside down on a plate, tilted like this, and maybe for 2 more days. And then you would rinse it 2 times per day at least to prevent any bacteria growing or no.
What's the name of the lid again?
Sprouting lid. You find it on Amazon. If you send me an email, I can send you my Amazon list as well.
Yes.
So I have a list with some foods I buy from Amazon and some kitchen tools. Mostly I buy my food though at the farmer's market. They have even almonds and walnuts here in California, so it's really great. And it's much higher quality, and it's also raw. But a few items I buy from Amazon. Okay, so what kind of soup are we going to make? I was thinking of making a more lighter soup without any seeds or without any fat, and then a more creamy soup. Of course, you can also, instead of making a soup, you can make a dressing by making it not so liquid. So let's start with the tomato soup with rice. Do you know the tomato soup with those rice? That was my favorite when I was a kid. I don't know if you had it here. I'm from Germany. Anyway, it was a tomato soup, and it has some rice in it. You don't know those?
Oh yeah, I can't remember what they call it. I mean, I think Campbell's had one or something.
It came in a package, and you just mix it with water and you warm it up.
Must be.
But I make a raw vegan out of that. So, and what you need, you don't need a stove. Apparently, you need a blender. And so you can have a cold soup with a blender, but you can also have a warm soup. So if you warm it up to body temperature, and you would just blend it more until it turns warm. So you could do it with your blender, but you could also do it with your on the stove, of course, and just heat it up a little bit, or maybe even cook it if you want and really warm. So I don't mind if you want to eat cooked food, but I keep it raw. So for the tomato soup, of course, I'll use tomatoes, and yeah.
How is it different from like gazpacho?
Pretty not really different. I mean, gazpacho is tomatoes, red bell peppers, and pretty much anything you want. Yeah. It's pretty much like gazpacho. The only thing I put in here is the rice. So we'll make kind of a replacement for rice. You can use more red bell peppers or less. I only found one red bell pepper here.
So you don't cook the rice?
I don't really have rice.
Oh,
I just call it rice.
What's that?
She was saying rice in quotes.
It just looks like rice, but it's not really rice. I don't eat raw rice, no.
Well, I didn't think so.
So when you're raw, is it like we cook only up to like 110 degrees or 150? What's
Yeah.
the number?
Yeah, 110. The dehydrator, you can turn probably the dehydrator on 120, since the outside temperature, or the temperature in the dehydrator is not really the temperature of the food, so the food will be always 30 degrees cooler than the air temperature. So what I do, I just chop it up a little bit, and if you cut tomatoes, you can also cut next to the green thing here. So not right to the middle, so you have two halves. One is with this green thing here, stem. One without, and then you just cut one side out. Like this.
Cuts your work in half.
Yeah, cuts your work in half. I learned it in a fast food restaurant.
Makes sense. Always looking to be efficient.
Do you prefer Roma tomatoes or just any tomatoes?
Any tomatoes, really. The higher the quality of the tomatoes, the better it will taste. But I only found these tomatoes. You could use the cherry tomatoes even. But a tomato, if it's good quality, it already tastes good like that. So if I'm traveling, I don't even look for raw vegan restaurants or anything like that. I don't really mind eating the food as it is. So I'm going to grocery stores, I'm going to farmer's market, and then I don't prepare, I just eat the cucumber as it is here. I mean, there's no difference in your nutrition that your body needs. If you would prepare the food, if you would mix it together first and then eat it, or if you would not mix it together and eat it. So there's really no difference, just no head. So when I travel, I would just eat like this.
Brilliant.
Yeah. No, but I'll definitely do it. I can't do it now, sorry.
Not for YouTube.
Well, but it's easy. You can do it. Are you fasting?
Yeah, fast.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to try just eating it like that, I mean, if you never did it, you don't know that the food already tastes really good as it is. And I have some fennel here too for my tomato soup. Fennel actually gives a nice flavor as a spice, pretty much. So I'll use a little bit. So you don't have to shave it first, so it was just shaved here. So I use a little bit just as a spice. And then I have turmeric. I actually made this turmeric myself. I bought fresh turmeric roots and I dried them in the dehydrator, and after they were dried, I powdered them in the blender dry. So it smells much better than store-bought. But of
Did you
course
just use the normal Vitamix blender blade? Okay.
Yeah.
Could you use raw turmeric instead?
Yes, you could also just use raw turmeric. I don't have raw turmeric right now, so I use just a little bit of that. And what else do I have here? I have a little bit of oregano. So I have oregano or thyme. I have fresh thyme here. So thyme, oregano, and tomatoes go really well together. And I don't really bother with getting the small leaves out. So the stem is a little bit chewy, so but if it breaks, it'll it's soft enough. It's kind of cold in here, isn't it?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want me to turn it down?
Yeah.
Here, I can get it. So.
Yeah, you just slide it off the stem. You don't have to take a lot of time to get all the stems out. Or it's a lot of time I'm using here, but I do like it a little bit more flavorful. Since we don't use any salt, but you can do less time or more. And then I have also parsley. Parsley would probably fit, but I'm not gonna put it in now because it's really green. So if I put the red vegetables with the green together, we're gonna have a brown soup. So if you want that, that's fine. Sometimes I do a gravy and I reach the brown color by just mixing red and green together, so it turns brown. That's fine too, if you want that. And a little bit for sweetness, I would use maybe half a manual date on this here. Because the tomato soups, the junk food tomato soups are always a little bit sweet. And wait, did I just use this compost?
You just put a half a date in there. That's gonna sweeten that whole thing.
Just a little bit. We don't want that too sweet, but if you want that sweeter, of course you can use more dates. So I'll keep this for later, and anything else, I always can use a little bit of celery. It's not that green that will turn our soup completely brown, but a little bit of celery always is good. Maybe even a bit more. Celery is really great if you don't use any salt. Then it gives a little bit more salty taste. Also, which gives a lot of taste is lemon juice. Maybe we don't want it too sour. So you have to be careful. You just taste, and then if you like the taste, it's fine. But nothing can really go wrong. If you use really high ingredients and you don't mix too many things together, it will taste good. Yes?
Do you sometimes put avocado?
Yeah. Yes. If I, for example, I want to make like a sauce,
Makes it
creamy
thicker.
sauce, it makes it thicker. Yeah. I use pretty much the same ingredients almost, and then the avocado makes it really creamy and thick. I made it last time. One time I made it here. Okay, I'll just mix it up. Okay, red bell pepper wasn't really bad enough. So it might be not that red. So if you use much more red bell peppers, but I only found one, it wasn't really super red either. Yeah, but if you use you can also use more red bell peppers, so it will make it really red. So for example, for tomato sauce, I don't even use that much tomatoes. It has more red bell peppers than tomatoes because it has less water than tomatoes, and then it makes it really, really red. Just a little bit, not that red. Pretty simple actually. So for the rice, yeah, sometimes you don't get what you expected, but maybe you get something new. I was expecting to be a little bit more red, but it depends on the tomatoes really. So for the rice, I'm using cauliflower. What's that again? Cauliflower. Cauliflower. That was a little bit of
There was one P at the bottom.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you have ruined our whole rice.
Just that one pea.
I want to save the piece for later, actually. Okay, so cauliflower in the food processor. I have a little one here, but you can use any food processor, pretty much. And just start. And that's it. You cook your rice. So you have your cauliflower rice. I like to put lemon juice on my cauliflower rice because it takes a little bit away the cabbage taste. But it looks really nice and ricey. And honestly, rice doesn't have a taste, so it also tastes like rice pretty much. Especially if you take away the cabbagey taste of it, and you mix it with something else. Sorry for the noise. Crazy. Let's put some lemon juice on it. Okay, we have our rice. It's really quick. But we can prep the soup a little bit more. Put some herbs in. Fresh herbs are always really nice. You can also use some sprouts. I'll use the parsley for the soup. And I really love parsley, and I do eat a lot of parsley, so I could easily eat one bunch of parsley per day for one person, or at least half a bunch, because it's really healthy. It has a lot of vitamin K, iron, it's loaded with iron and vitamin C. And it tastes much better than lettuce. It has much more flavor, so I do like herbs.
Similar nutrients to parsley?
Actually, I don't find that for cilantro, but I'm sure it has some other nice properties. But parsley is really
I love parsley.
the most nutritious.
Yeah.
That's how I found it. I mean, maybe nobody has tested really the other herbs, so for that. So I would just put the rice in here. A little bit, maybe not that much. Let's see. And then mix it. Yeah, usually it's a little bit more redder, that soup. So you might want to take some tomatoes that are more red, or more red bell peppers. But yeah, that's pretty much a soup. Let me try it. Tastes like a soup. Okay. So the other soup we can make. Well, I don't really clean this here, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit red. That's fine. It's not gonna discolor our soup much. So I would use any kinds of creamy seeds. You can use sunflower seeds. You can use hemp seeds. So I'll use, it depends. So if you want to make a dressing, so let's make a dressing first, and then we'll use everything.
So you're saying any seeds you add make it creamier, or more, are you adding fat or creaminess for both?
Yeah, both.
Are those sprouted?
These are soaked in water overnight. of nuts and seeds, so they have natural preservatives to prevent them from spoiling, or they keep themselves till they come in contact with water so they can grow. So,
Is there a reason you're using seeds instead of like nuts, like a cashew?
cashews are not really raw usually, so I don't really use cashews.
You use almonds?
I use almonds, yeah.
I thought you could get raw cashews. I thought you could get raw cashews.
Yeah, they say they're raw, but there's so they are actually, they have a hole, and they have to remove the hole, and there's a toxin between the nut and the hole, so they steam treat it usually. They don't roast. After they sell it. If they roast them, they sell them roasted apparently, and then if they're not roasted, they call them raw. But it's still pretty cold, huh?
It still is, I got it at 69.
You have the heat on?
Maybe I'll
Oh,
just
maybe.
turn it off for now.
Yeah.
Put the heat on.
You know.
Yeah, I didn't bring myself. I realized I had-
Okay, so
Can you put that on a half cup of
that I soaked half a cup of those seeds here. Okay, so we have those. And definitely if you use seeds, then you want to use lemon juice.
So you could do the same thing with pumpkin seeds?
Pumpkin seeds are good too. Pumpkin seeds are great. Hemp seeds are great too for this, especially this soup. And we have some dill here. Usually we don't have dill. So dill is good. Actually also for the soup base, I was thinking you can pretty much add any vegetables here for the soup.
Is that a soup or a dressing?
Well, we make both. There's a huge difference between the soup and dressing. The soupy part of the soup could be a dressing if it's more thicker. So I'll make it thick first and then we can dilute it even. Okay, so let's do the dressing first. I'll have some lemon in here. Use a little bit more lemon for that. I don't use any vinegar, but
Where do you typically get your seeds from?
I get some from Amazon. And
What brands on Amazon do you like?
if you send me an email, I can send you the list. So this, I don't remember all of them, but I get chia seeds. I get from Nutiva, I think, and the sunflower seeds. I don't remember that brand actually. Yeah, you have to look for that they are truly raw and then that they are sproutable. And if they say they're sproutable and they don't sprout, then you can just return them and complain.
Just the bad
Okay.
review.
I also use celery because celery is always great.
So let's use raw zucchini.
Zucchini, you could for a hummus kind of thing. Then either you use water for your dressings or you just use cucumber. You can use the cucumber with the peel, but it will turn it more green. So if you don't want to have it too green, you just peel it. And everything is really quick, and also the cleanup is really simple. It's just nothing sticks on the pan, and you just rinse it off with water, pretty much. So instead of putting water in here, just put a cucumber in. And I like caraway for something creamy and with dough or something like this. Caraway, that's pretty well. Oh, I should have put some chili in the soup. I didn't do that. I was gonna put a little bit of chili in the soup. I don't use any garlic and onions, it's too strong and overpowering, but I still use chili. So I got that.
Generally or not for this?
For this soup, yeah, the tomato soup with chili would be.
But I mean, like onions and garlic, you rarely
No.
use it, or just for this thing you don't?
No, rarely I use it.
Just because you don't like it.
Yeah, I don't, well, I loved it in the past, but since I'm eating raw and more clean, then it's just too much,
It overpowers?
yeah, it's overpowering, and also I feel overpowered really. So it's really heavy on the body, I feel. So I stopped using it. You want this to be really creamy. So if you make creamy dressings, you want as little liquid as possible first. Then make it really creamy, and then at the end you still can put some liquid in it if it's too thick. But I honestly like my dressings a little bit thicker, because if you pour it over vegetables that have a lot of water content, it will always be runny. So you pretty much have here a dressing base. Of course, you can add any spice. That's pretty much the base. But you can, if you like garlic, you can put garlic in here, or
Now, like if you made a lot, how long would that keep in the fridge?
probably 2 to 3 days, maybe. It's like cooked food too, pretty much.
It's like cooked food, you said?
Yeah, cooked food you don't want to keep too long in the fridge either. Honestly, I think it's better to have the food raw is better, can be stored better than cooked food, I would say. But I don't want to leave it too long in the fridge. I do like to eat things fresh. And it really doesn't take that long. So if you are preparing and you know what you're going to eat tomorrow, you can pre-soak the nuts on seeds and then put them in the fridge for 3 days too. Okay, that's pretty much a boring base, I guess. But we're gonna put some herbs in here. So dill is really great for dressing. Just put it in here for now. Actually, we could have put some cilantro in the. I'm gonna put some cilantro. I find the tomato soup is a little bit boring, maybe, but so with a little more chili and maybe some cilantro will improve.
Do you ever use ginger?
I have ginger here even, so you can make a curry curry dressing with this by putting in ginger and turmeric, of course, and some of these coriander seeds, and some carrot we did already. You can also make a curry without seeds by using mango and tomatoes and turmeric and ginger, so it doesn't have any seeds then. You want to do it more low fat. put some water in here to make it thinner, or some more cucumber blended, but
Do you have lemon juice?
more lemon juice. Yeah. So, okay, this is kind of our soup base. And for the vegetables, I was thinking you can use some peas. Any vegetables that you like, actually. And we could use some noodles. We can make a creamy noodle soup. I make that one day. So I'm gonna make noodles. Noodles also don't have any taste really, so it only depends on the sauce.
So you're gonna make the noodles out of the cucumbers? Okay.
And it's even quicker than cooking your noodles in a pot, and then you have to clean the pot. And you have to wait 10 minutes. So I do have a spiralizer here, vegetable spiralizer. You can also get it on Amazon. There are different kinds of spiralizers, so I'm just gonna make noodles out of my cucumber.
Never seen one.
What if I don't like, I usually don't like the seeds of the cucumbers, can I just take out the seeds?
Oh, you don't like the seeds of the cucumber?
No, and could I take out the seeds and?
Not
just
really.
use it?
If you don't like the seeds, you can make noodles like this
Okay,
here
yeah.
with a potato peeler.
Mhm.
So that's possible too.
That's
And then you just
zucchini.
stop.
Okay.
You just stop at the core,
Okay,
and then
Mhm.
you have these kind of noodles. It's also really nice.
yeah.
I like these noodles too. Yeah, you just peel it. Just a regular potato peeler. Yeah, it depends. Some cucumbers have really hard, big seeds. This one doesn't have any big seeds really.
Mhm.
But yeah, because you don't even need a spiralizer to make noodles. And you can also
use zucchini as well, right?
zucchini, yeah. You can. Do you like the seeds of zucchini?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can use zucchini, or you can use carrots.
Mm.
That's a lot of noodles.
Can you use raw beets or sweet
Yes.
potatoes
Mhm.
as noodles too?
Yeah, if you like them.
I mean, you could eat those things raw.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes you can use one?
Uh huh.
You can juice that. I never-
If you like them, if you don't like them, you can
Well,
eat
I
it
like
raw.
them, I never
apparently.
eat them raw. I just eat it.
Some sprouts maybe here. And you really want to keep your food high water content. Because we're 70% water, we're not protein, 70% protein. I mean, everything has protein, really. Every living thing makes protein or creates a structure out of protein. So every living thing, animals, the plants, like everything really. So there's really no point to worry about protein really. I would rather worry about the water because with the cooking and processing, we remove the water content of the food. Also the minerals. Something really smells cabbagey. Yeah, that's. Sometimes it smells a little bit more cabbagey. I guess. Just a little bit. Yeah, so we have here a base. We can also put a tomato in here, just sliced tomato would be good too. No, I didn't take care of doing this tonight. A little bit of color, otherwise it's all pretty green. And I also like seaweed in here. If you do like seaweed, I have seaweed and sometimes it's already a nice dish, like a noodle dish here. It's pretty, I mean, it's not that tasteful, but you can also put the noodles in here and have rice in here, so it's up to you. So then I'll put just the dressing on top. That's pretty much a noodle dish, but if you put more water in here, then you have noodle soup. I don't know, should I put more water in here or not? Or maybe you should.
Yeah.
You should just do it like that, maybe.
Yeah, it looks good that way.
Yeah, it's really what you want to do, you know? It's quite creamy now. If you want to have noodle soup, then you can pour more water. But honestly, I would like to eat it like that too. So maybe we'll just keep it like that. So, I mean, it's really that simple with the raw food. So I don't really think about much what I'm doing, honestly. But the most important is get high quality fruits and vegetables, and then nothing can go wrong. I mean, if you can cook, you can just eat it as it is.
Do you work with oats at all?
Oats?
And keep them raw?
Yeah, I use oat groats.
Rolled oats?
No,
Oh,
groats.
groats.
Oat groats. The whole oats, and then I sprout them. I did it last time, but it's not on my YouTube channel yet, but I make it public soon. So last time I did brunch idea, so I had some oatmeal with sprouted oats, and yeah. But those are oat groats that I get from the sproutpeople.org. I can send you also the link for that. And they actually sprout. So usually oats are also heat treated and they don't usually sprout. So you have to buy the sproutable variety. I have to taste this here to see how it works. Yeah, either you make a soup or just a creamy
Seems like
salad.
you could use some carrots too.
Carrot?
The carrots would be good in that also.
No, yeah, you can add carrot.
Is it kind of like a creamy coleslaw kind of thing going on? Or?
If you have the sauerkraut or the cabbage, you can use this for your coleslaw as well.
Is it dressing on your YouTube channel?
This dressing? Well, it will be.
So is that your lunch then?
That's probably my lunch, unless you eat it all.
Everyone's fasting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would definitely eat it all, but I can't.
Is,
Do you sprout, oh, go ahead.
if we type your email into YouTube, will we find your channel?
Yeah, or you send me an email.
Oh, okay.
I only have one spoon there. Didn't work.
Do you sprout beans? Like garbanzo beans or anything?
Garbanzo beans, yes. Not really kidney beans. I've heard that they're not edible then, even if they're sprouted, they're toxic. But I sprout lentils, garbanzo beans, green peas, yellow peas,
What mug?
Use mung beans.
Mung beans.
mung beans you can sprout, yeah. And then I also sprout other things, yeah.
Can you make a
Also
hummus with the garbanzos?
Yeah,
after
last
they're
time I
sprouted?
actually made a hummus with
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
sprouted garbanzo.
Poor Mark.
Everything
Yeah.
with tablecloth looks good right now.
The only dressing I was
Orange
making
peel.
is,
Give it to him. Consume it all.
I have a mango here too, but I'm not gonna use that mango right now, so you can make a dressing with mango too, mango and tomatoes.
What's the best way to cut a mango?
Oh, the best way? So you,
Also,
Well-
how to pick it in the market. That's a good thing too.
if it's really ripe, then you can even peel it like this. There are different ways really. So one way is the mango needs to be ripe, otherwise it won't be tasty. If it's not that tasty and it never ripens, it's still hard, you can still make a curry out of it with tomatoes, make a dressing. But if you want to eat it sweet and nice, it needs to be soft. And then you can even peel it like this and just eat it, like around the core. Or some people also, if it's really ripe, it's very, very hard to do with a potato peeler. So what you can do, if you don't want to be too messy, you just cut around the seed. So the seed is like this in the, it's not like this, right? It's like, it lays like that. So you cut around the stem, very close to the seed. So there's the seed here in the middle, and then you cut the other side. So we have the seed in here. These sides you can just spoon out with a spoon, or you can also use your fingers and then go in here. If you want to do it a little bit more sophisticated, you will use the spoon. I don't have a spoon, but you can do it like this, and then you can take it out here. You can also cut it first. Okay, I'll show you the messy version first. Thank you so much. And then, but you can also use a spoon, and maybe it looks a little bit nicer, so you just go around like an avocado. You spoon it out here.
And then what do you do with the middle slice?
The middle slice, I would just peel it here. Just get a little bit off here. If it's ripe, it will come off. If it's not ripe, maybe you want to use the potato peeler and then cut around the core, and then you want to use it for your dressing. But this is nice and ripe and soft and sweet, so you can just eat it like this. And then maybe you'll cut around the core, or you just eat it like that. You can get a little bit off there, more sophisticated, or you can just also just eat it like that. And just
Do you buy the mangoes ripe, or do you buy them hard like you would buy an avocado?
what was your question?
Like when I buy an avocado, I get the hard one and I let it ripen. Is
No,
that
I'd
what
rather
you-
buy them soft.
So
and ripe.
mangoes, you would buy soft.
I mean, sometimes you're lucky, but sometimes you're not. But as I said, if it's not really ripening and it's not sweet, just use it as for your dressing. Just blend it up with
You
tomatoes.
would probably put one that's hard in a salsa maybe.
Mm-hmm. But and the salsa should be maybe also sweet and nice.
Yeah.
Eve, I find that type of mango will ripen fine on the counter.
Mhm.
Big mangoes, it's harder, for me, it's harder to find
Yeah.
the right one, but these will ripen in a couple of days.
Also depends on the season. Tastes pretty good. Yeah, and that's pretty clean. You can also clean this up here a little bit.
You don't need to do that.
We're good. We're good.
I do later. Okay, that's pretty much it. I was pretty quick today. If you have any questions, we can talk about that too.
One of the people here told me that you make a sauerkraut without salt.